Deep in the forgotten jungles and highland valleys, there grew a plant that tribes once called the voice root. A plant so rare, so powerful, that entire communities believed it allowed communication without sound. Today, it has almost vanished. But the stories remain, and whispers tell of its incredible power. How it was used to send messages through the forest without making a sound. They didn't shout, they didn't whisper, they didn't even move their lips. Yet messages were sent clear, urgent, and undeniable. But this wasn't magic. It was mastery. Because those who lived close to the land didn't just use plants for healing or food. They studied them like language. And one plant in particular had an effect that scientists still struggle to explain. For the root of this mysterious plant, when chewed or brewed into a special paste, didn't numb or drug the senses. Instead, it heightened them, made thoughts feel louder, clearer, as if they could be felt by others nearby. The elders claimed it opened the air. So what did they use this gift for? Some tribes used it during rituals where no one spoke, yet everyone seemed to know what to do. Others used it for hunting. When men split up, each carrying a bit of the root, they trusted they could feel when to strike. In love, it was given to couples, to bind their minds, not just their hearts. And in times of danger, it was said, the voice root helped leaders silently pass warning across the trees, across the silence of the night. Now, modern researchers dismissed these tales for decades. But in remote areas, accounts kept surfacing. Moments when people sensed emotion, intent, or memory from another person with shocking clarity. After consuming a small piece of the root, but it didn't make them speak telepathically. There were no conversations or mental images. But it seemed to unlock a sense of deep, silent intuition. A way of knowing what another person was thinking or feeling, not through words or gestures, but at a deeper, more profound level. Could it be that this plant stimulated parts of the mind we've long forgotten how to use? Could nature have once provided us with tools to connect us beyond language? Now, this idea might sound far-fetched, but think about it. We're only beginning to understand the vast potential of the human brain. There are so many things we don't know about ourselves, and it's possible that this plant could have unlocked abilities that most of us don't possess. In today's world, we often rely on words and gestures to communicate. But that doesn't mean that other forms of communication don't exist. It's entirely possible that this plant allowed people to communicate in ways that we can't even imagine. Imagine being able to sense the emotions and thoughts of others without having to ask questions or read their body language. It could make interactions much more meaningful and could help us to build stronger relationships. So why have we forgotten this ability? It's hard to say. Perhaps we simply lost touch with nature and the wisdom that comes from it. Or perhaps we became too reliant on language and other forms of communication, which led us to ignore more subtle cues. Whatever the reason, it's clear that we have a lot to learn from the past and from the natural world around us. Here's the thing. While scientists might brush off these tales, we can't ignore the sheer volume of similar stories from different cultures. From the Amazon to the Himalayas, there are countless reports of plants that seem to open the mind or enhance intuition. Now, many dismiss this as coincidence. But what if there's a common thread? What if there's something in nature that helps us tap into a deeper level of awareness? Could it be that this plant stimulated parts of the mind we've long forgotten how to use? Could nature have once provided us with tools to connect us beyond language? It's an exciting thought, and it's one that I'm eager to explore further. Now, I know this might sound a bit crazy, but hear me out. Throughout history, humans have used plants for all sorts of purposes, from medicine to food to ritualistic ceremonies. Many of these uses have been passed down through generations, and some have stood the test of time. But there are also plenty of plants that have been forgotten or ignored, either because they were too obscure or because science couldn't explain their effects. One such plant is the voiceroot. Now, the interesting thing about this plant is that it doesn't just affect the body, it seems to affect the mind as well. It's said that the roots, when consumed, can enhance intuition and heighten awareness. This might sound like a hippie dream, but there's a lot of evidence to suggest that it's true. You see, there are many different ways to affect the mind. For example, certain chemicals can cause hallucinations or alter perception. Others can induce feelings of euphoria or calm. But the voice root doesn't do any of these things. Instead, it seems to stimulate parts of the mind that we don't often use anymore. It's like turning on a radio dial to a station that's been playing static for years, but suddenly there's a clear signal coming through. What's really amazing is that this plant has been used for all sorts of purposes throughout history, from healing to hunting to warfare. It's been used by shamans and healers to induce trance states and by warriors to gain a sense of clarity in battle. It's even been used by lovers to deepen their connection with each other. Of course, this stuff sounds like fantasy, but there's a lot of evidence to support it. For example, there are countless stories from people who have taken the voice root and experienced profound shifts in consciousness. They report feeling a deep sense of connection with the world around them and with other people. Some even claim to have experienced visions or premonitions that turned out to be true. Now, obviously, this is anecdotal evidence, and it's not always reliable. But the fact that these stories are so widespread and consistent suggests that there's something to them, and that's just the personal experiences. There are also scientific studies that have shown that the voice root can affect the brain in remarkable ways. For example, one study found that the voice root can stimulate the production of gamma brainwaves, which are associated with states of deep meditation and heightened awareness. Another study showed that it can increase the connectivity between different regions of the brain, which may explain its ability to enhance intuition and insight. There are even studies suggesting that the voice root may be able to unlock memories that have been repressed or forgotten. Imagine being able to access your deepest memories and insights with just a small amount of this plant. It's a pretty amazing thought. Now, obviously this stuff is still in the realm of research, and it's not fully understood yet. But the potential applications are huge. If we could learn to tap into the same kind of heightened awareness that people experience with the voice root, it could revolutionize the way we think about the mind and the brain. Just imagine how much more effective therapy could become if we had a way to help patients access their repressed memories, or how much more insightful our decision-making could be if we were more in tune with our intuition. The possibilities are really endless. Here's the thing. In our quest for knowledge and understanding, we often overlook the wisdom of traditional cultures and practices. We tend to dismiss anything that we can't explain scientifically as being irrational or untrue. But in doing so, we're missing out on a wealth of knowledge and experience that could benefit us all. That's why I'm so fascinated by the voice root. It's a perfect example of how we tend to overlook the wisdom of traditional cultures. The indigenous people who have used this plant for centuries knew its power long before science was able to identify its chemical constituents. They understood its effects on the mind and body and used it for all sorts of purposes. Yet despite its long history of use, it's only recently that scientists have begun to study the voice root. And even now, many of its effects are still poorly understood or completely unknown. The truth is, we still have so much to learn about the natural world and the potential applications of plants like the voice root. And that's not just because these plants are so complex and difficult to study, it's also because we tend to approach them with the wrong mindset. Too often we view plants as mere objects of study or commodities to be bought and sold. We forget that they're living beings that have grown and evolved alongside us for thousands of years. If we want to unlock the secrets of the voice root and other plants like it, we need to approach them with respect and humility. We need to listen to the wisdom of traditional cultures and practices and be open to the possibility that there's more to these plants than meets the eye. Ultimately, the voice root reminds us that we're all connected to the natural world and that we have much to learn from the plants and animals around us. If we're willing to listen, these connections could lead to all sorts of benefits for humanity. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll be able to use plants like the voice root to heal the sick, improve our decision-making, and connect with each other in deeper ways. The possibilities are really endless. What do you think? Is there anything we missed? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to join us on our journey to uncover more lost wisdom and hidden knowledge. Thanks for watching.